Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video on the Gooners and Gloves Podcast channel. In today's video, it's going to be the 101st Gooners and Gloves Podcast, and I'm going to be giving you guys my thoughts and reactions to Arsenal's friendly versus Villareal at the Emirates Stadium. Just got finished watching it, so as always, I'm going to go through how I thought the game was, how I think we played, the goal scorers, the assist providers, and kind of just my overall thoughts on the game, and of course how I'm feeling. So, unfortunately, it's a disappointing return to the Emirates Stadium for Arsenal. Obviously, it's Arsenal's first game back at the Emirates since the 18th of May against Newcastle, and unfortunately it's not a pleasant return, as not only did we lose the game, but we also lost the penalty shootout as well. So a disappointing night for Arsenal where we lost the game and the penalty shootout, so it's definitely disappointing. But alas, I'm still going to try and go through both the positives and the negatives, but unfortunately it's definitely not ideal. I mean, this is not how we should be playing only about a week and a half before the start of the Premier League season. But at the same time, I'm not going to overreact, I'm not going to lose my head. End of the day, it is pre-season, as I always say. Doesn't mean I want to be losing the games, but the idea is if you're going to lose, then do it in pre-season, don't do it in the actual season. But anyway, let's go on and get into the game. So Villarreal did get the win 3-2, and I've got to give Villarreal credit. I think they played well tonight. I think they were compact, they created good opportunities, and ultimately, whenever they had the ball, they took full advantage of it, and they created some really good opportunities. And yeah, I mean, of course, we know for Arsenal, conceding 3 goals is a huge rarity, so fair play to Villarreal for managing to score 3 against us. End of the day, it does not happen often for Arsenal. They don't concede 3 often. I mean, the last time Arsenal conceded 3 goals was against Luton Town back in December of 2023. So that just shows we don't give away a lot of goals. So fair play to Villarreal for managing to put 3 past us. Respect to them for that. I've got to give them their credit. So let's get into the actual game. So unfortunately, they did manage to go 2-0 up, which of course is really, really disappointing. So first of all, it was the former Arsenal man, Nicolas Pepe, who managed to get the goal. Fair play to him. He didn't actually celebrate, which I do respect, but he did manage to put Villarreal 1-0 up. Of course, Nicolas Pepe being the former Arsenal player, we paid over £70 million for him. He played for us, and he did manage to score against us. So it was just really poor defending. I was really, really not happy with the defending for this goal. Ball comes in, good ball across to Pepe. It was initially blocked, but then of course, Nicolas Pepe left wide open. Kivior just did not manage to deal with him, and he manages to calmly tap the ball in. It was a simple finish for him, which he of course took full advantage of, but again, the defending for this goal just was not good. I really was not impressed with the defending. Just Nicolas Pepe just left with too much space. Kivior tried to get the ball off him, completely just did not manage to, and Pepe managed to beat him and then coolly and calmly slot the ball into the back of the net to open the scoring at the Emirates and silence the crowd. So it wasn't obviously a very good moment, but again, fair play to Nicolas Pepe. He didn't celebrate, which I do respect. Fair play to him for that. But yeah, really disappointing way to start the game, to concede, obviously go 1-0 down. And again, it was just such a sloppy goal, so avoidable. Again, just the defending was all over the place. The ball gets crossed in really nicely. Pepe manages to get to it, and obviously, it comes down. It falls to Pepe. Pepe beats Kivior and then manages to tap it in calmly. So just a really, really disappointing way to concede, obviously so early on in the game, and not to mention in such a poorly defended way. The game carries on, and not too long after, Etta Ayong manages to also score, and again, it was basically the exact same thing. It was another good delivery in. Raya actually initially got a really good save, because there was a shot at Raya, and to be fair to Raya, he did get an initial very good save, but again, it was that rebound which fell down, and Etta Young, again, Kivior just gets beaten, as do, to be fair, it's not just Kivior, it's all of our defenders, but Kivior in particular, again, just does not deal with it, and obviously none of the other defenders are there. Lewis Skelly also didn't do very well for this goal either, and unfortunately, that allowed Etta Young, again, to just tap it in, because it was a good save from Raya, and initially it seemed like we dealt with it, but no defender managed to get a clearance in, and again, Etta Young completely wide open. Kivior tries to get the ball off him, does not manage to, and for that reason, Etta Ayong, just like Pepe, taps the ball in. It was essentially the same goal. It was a shot, a cross, and then completely wide open, and just a tap in. That's what it was. The first one was a cross, which was initially misplaced, but then fell to Pepe, and Pepe tapped it in. This one was a really good shot on goal, which David Raya got the save for, and then that rebound that came down, no defender cleared it, and again, Etta Ayong was wide open and managed to tap it in. So this isn't the way that we should be conceding goals, just allowing players to just be in good positions to easily tap it in, because both of the goals were avoidable. The initial delivery to Pepe wasn't very good, but because of the lack of defending, it got to Pepe, and Pepe managed to tap it in. And for Etta Ayong, the shot was good, however, it was saved really well from David Raya, and all it would have taken is the ball to be headed away, the ball to be cleared away, just something. But again, for both goals, the defending was lazy, and ultimately the ball was not cleared, and that allowed both Pepe and Ayong to tap the ball in. However, Arsenal did manage to pull one back not too long after. It was a good delivery from Gabriel Martinelli from the corner, and then Christian Norgard actually scored his first goal for Arsenal. Obviously, really cool to see one of the new signings scoring a goal, and I was happy that obviously Norgard got the goal. We knew when we were signing Christian Norgard how good he is from set pieces. We saw at Brentford he scored loads of set piece goals, and he proved it tonight. He was completely wide open. He found a really good pocket of space when nobody was marking him at that right-hand post. Stayed calm, stayed composed, good delivery from Martinelli, and then Christian Norgard heads it in. It was good to see Gabriel Martinelli get the assist because, to be honest, that was really his only good moment. I've got to be honest, I do really like Martinelli, and obviously I don't want to trash on him too much, but unfortunately tonight he just did not have a good performance, I've got to be honest. So that was the one single redeeming moment in an otherwise really poor performance in my opinion. Obviously, I don't like saying that, I like Martinelli, but I do also have to be honest, tonight he did put on a poor performance, and that assist from the corner was really pretty much his only good moment. Other than that, he just, like, don't get me wrong, he worked hard still, he tried to make things happen, but ultimately just did not manage to make much happen. But again, I rate his work rate, I always have. I really rate how hard Martinelli works and how much he's trying, but unfortunately tonight it just did not lead to anything. But it was a good delivery from the corner, and Christian Norgard calmly heads it in. Really nice to see him get his first goal for Arsenal, and hopefully some of the other signings can soon score their first goals. So that was Christian Norgard. He managed to get the goal back. And then from there, the rest of the half was obviously not too eventful. Obviously, there wasn't too much left. And eventually, the half came to an end at 2-1. Of course, something I haven't mentioned yet is that Victor Gyökeres did get his debut today. He got about 60 minutes in total. And, you know, obviously, I know it wasn't like the craziest performance, but truth be told, I don't fully blame Gyökeres. First of all, the chances just weren't there. Like, the creativity just wasn't there, and unfortunately, he just was not being given the service to get the goals. To be fair, in the very few instances where he did have good service, he actually did all right. There was one moment where he skinned the defender and then got a really good shot off, which was saved. There was another moment just before he came off where again he got a really good shot off, which was saved. He had some good moments where he dribbled. So to be fair, in the limited times that he got good service, I think he actually did have some good moments of positivity. So I'm still feeling positive about Victor Gyökeres. Hopefully now against Bilbao we can maybe see a full 90. That'd be really nice, because truth be told, it would have been nice to see him play full 90 tonight, but he was taken off at around the 60th minute and Marina was put up front. But to be fair, in the few times that he did have good service, which didn't happen a lot tonight, but in the few times that he had good service, I thought he was actually good. Like, to be fair, he created some good opportunities. Remember earlier on in the game where he managed to skin one of the Villareal defenders and get a shot off. There was another moment just before he came off where he had a really good shot that was saved brilliantly by the Villarreal goalkeeper, and he had one more time where he did square a good ball across, which was not converted. So to be fair, he may not have lit the world on fire tonight, but there were definitely moments of positivity from Gyökeres which he can build on. Obviously, I'm not only blaming this on the service. The fact is Gyökeres didn't necessarily light the world on fire tonight, but that's okay. End of the day, we have to remain patient. This is going to take time, but to be fair, there were some moments of positivity from Gyökeres today, so I'm certainly not feeling too negative about it. Like, there were definitely some good moments of positivity tonight from Gyökeres. I liked some of the stuff he did. Some of the dribbles were really good. He obviously worked really hard. Good work rate, good engine. So to be fair, some good moments of positivity tonight for Gyökeres, but hopefully we can see better against Athletic Bilbao, because I'm guessing he'll play there as well, maybe even get the full 90. But all in all, it was good to see him get his first start. It's good to see him playing at the Emirates for the first time. He worked hard, he tried to make things happen, and in the few times that he actually had good service, he had some moments of positivity. So hopefully we can build on those. But really, due to a combination of not much service and Gyökeres himself maybe struggling to adapt, it was a bit of a difficult first game for him, but he had some moments of positivity, and I do think he'll continue to build on it. So I'm not going to be too negative about it. I'm going to remain patient, and I've got no doubt that Gyökeres will come good and will be a good striker. But anyway, so that was Victor Gyökeres. So we move on to the second half, and again, to be fair, it actually started off right. Obviously, we did get a lot of substitutions. Initially, it was just Christian Mosquera and also Martin Zubimendi who came off. So Christian Mosquera and Martin Zubimendi, they were the two substitutions. They came on. Again, I liked what I saw from Martin Zubimendi today. He's just so good. He's just so defensively solid, so calm, so composed. And again, I liked what I saw from Martin Zubimendi tonight. And with the exception of a couple of moments, Mosquera had a decent game as well today. To be fair, there was one moment for the third goal, which I'll get to soon, which was obviously really poor from him. But to be fair, for the most part, he actually did all right today. Not a bad performance from Christian Mosquera. Obviously, it's only the second time he's gotten any minutes, and it's not like he got a crazy amount against Spurs. So to be fair, good to see him get minutes again, and of course Martin Zubimendi as well. So to be fair, the second half did start to improve a little bit. We started to create some more opportunities. Obviously Ethan Nwaneri, Bukayo Saka were definitely making things happen, and we were starting to create some more opportunities, which was good to see. And of course, eventually in the second half, we did get a lot of changes, as we usually would. Kepa came on in favour of David Raya, and of course we did go on to see Kepa in the penalty shootout, which I'll also get to soon. So Kepa came on, Gabriel and Yuri and Timber both came on, which was really good to see. Happy to finally have them back. Obviously, Yuri and Timber and Gabriel have been struggling with injuries. Gabriel finally gets his first minutes of preseason, and Yuri and Timber finally is back as well. So obviously that was a much needed lift for the squad, and I'm obviously really happy, and hopefully they'll both be fit for that first game at Old Trafford against Manchester United. So really happy that both Gabriel and Yuri and Timber are back. So they came on. Declan Rice also came on as well, of course, for some more midfield solidity. And then, of course, outside of that, we had Max Dowman and Martin Odegaard. Max Dowman once again with a fantastic performance. I'll get to him in a second as well. But yeah, so all in all, the substitutions were initially we had Mosquera and Zubimendi, and then later in the half we had Kepa. We had Kepa. We had Martin Zubimendi. No, sorry, I'm getting confused. Sorry, we had Kepa. We had Dowman. We had Odegaard. We had Rice. We had Gabriel. We had Yuri and Timber. And then at the start of the half we had Mosquera and Zubimendi. So loads of changes as usual, which of course was good to see. So let's talk about Max Dowman. So Max Dowman, absolutely phenomenal tonight. Again, seriously, just constantly made things happen. Again, he's just so good. Like, he just makes things happen. Loads of opportunities created. He obviously won the penalty for Martin Odegaard. That's actually the second penalty that he's won in preseason for Odegaard, which just shows how attacking he is, how good he is at getting forward and just making things happen. Just before I continue talking about Dowman, I'll quickly talk about the goal that Villarreal scored. So unfortunately, Villarreal did catch us on the counter. It was a good ball from Comesaña, and then Dan Newman manages to get the goal. The former Tottenham man manages to score at the Emirates Stadium. To be fair to him, it was a lovely finish past Kepa Arrizabalaga. Really good finish. Comesaña with a nice ball as well. And I must say, Gabriel and Mosquera just got completely caught out here. Seriously, it really wasn't acceptable defending from either of them. So Comesaña finds the space, squares it across brilliantly to Danjuma, and Danjuma is just left in miles of space. He had so much space. Gabriel, obviously with his lack of fitness, didn't manage to catch him, and Mosquera just wasn't fast enough. And so very good finish by Danjuma past Kepa Arrizabalaga, and Arsenal went 3-1 down. But I just had to highlight this goal because the defending from Gabriel and Mosquera here was just not acceptable. Like, it was really poor. Gabriel, obviously due to having just come back, he obviously didn't quite have the fitness to chase after him, and Mosquera just was not fast enough. So yeah, I did have to mention that it was really poor defending from Gabriel and Mosquera for that one, but obviously I did want to talk about it. But fair play to Danjuma, it was a really good finish past Kepa Arrizabalaga. Not really much that he could have done. But anyway, as I mentioned before, following on from this, Max Dowman obviously created some opportunities and eventually was fouled in the box and did manage to win the penalty, which Martin Odegaard took very calmly. So it was good to see him score another penalty. Obviously by this point both Saka and Gyökeres were off, so clearly this doesn't mean that Odegaard's on penalties, but it is good to see that he is for the most part reliable when we call on him, which end of the day is great because he is the captain. So of course we do hope that he is a good penalty taker. But again, Max Dowman so good, created several opportunities again, had several good shots which were saved, and of course did win the penalty for Martin Odegaard. So Max Dowman is just a serious baller. This guy's a generational talent, and every single time he comes on, like consistently, he gets so far forward, he creates so many opportunities, and he just makes us so much better. Like, we just look so much more threatening, so much more attacking with Max Dowman on the pitch. He's gotten minutes in every single game, and I fully expected to get minutes against Bilbao, and it's fully deserved because he's fantastic. Obviously we don't want to rush him too much, but he's just so good. He just makes things happen on the pitch, and again created several opportunities, good balls across, and of course did manage to win the penalty which Martin Odegaard took. And that's how the game ended. We tried our best to get the third goal. We tried to force an equalizer, but unfortunately we just couldn't do anything else. Villarreal defended really well, managed to keep us at bay, and the game finished 3-2. So all in all, an entertaining game from the viewpoint of the actual quality. It was a good game. We had 5 goals, obviously chances on both ends, but unfortunately a disappointing result for Arsenal. And unfortunately, the disappointment only continued as we then had the penalty shootout, and Arsenal lost the penalty shootout. Despite having the advantage, we still managed to lose it. It came down to Gabriel, and to be fair, I can't really blame Gabriel too much for this penalty because it was just a ridiculously good save from the keeper. So we had the chance to win it. Gabriel steps up, unfortunately doesn't score, but to be fair, I can't blame Gabriel too much because that save from the keeper was absolutely incredible. It's one of the best penalty saves I've ever seen. And then of course Madueke steps up. Madueke, and that's another thing I forgot to mention, Noni Madueke, we saw his debut as well. Obviously only got about 15 minutes, so we can't really talk too much about Madueke. Tried to make some stuff happen, but of course he only got about 15 minutes, so there just wasn't really much to talk about. But he stepped up. Unfortunately he did miss his penalty, and so we did lose the penalty shootout as well. We saw some other penalty takers. Declan Rice's penalty I thought was fantastic, really good power. To be fair, Kepa didn't do horribly in this penalty shootout. He did make a really good save, and for the most part was going the right way for the penalties. Obviously another penalty was missed via the crossbar, so we definitely should have won the penalty shootout, no doubt about that. I mean, seriously, we were ahead twice, I think, so really disappointed that we couldn't manage to get the penalty shootout down. End of the day, it is just pre-season, but of course we really do ideally want to be gaining our want to be building up our confidence with the penalty shootouts, because of course we have been losing them. We lost the one against AC Milan, we lost the one today, we obviously lost against Man United back in January, so we really need to start winning these penalty shootouts and getting our penalty confidence up. But alas, it was good to see some people stepping up. Obviously Declan Rice's penalty was really good, loads of power in that one. Obviously Odegaard with a solid penalty, so there were good penalties taken. Of course Mikel Merino's penalty was really bad. I did have to mention Mikel Merino's penalty was horrible, really poor penalty from Mikel Merino. And then of course Madueke's wasn't very good either. It was quite a soft penalty which was saved, and unfortunately that resulted in us losing the penalty shootout. So all in all, a disappointing day at the Emirates. But that being said, it was good to see the squad back at the Emirates, and end of the day, I'm not going to be too reactionary about it. I'm not going to be too reactionary about Gyökeres or anything like that. End of the day, it's pre-season. Obviously fair play to Villarreal though, don't get me wrong, they played well. Like, respect to Villarreal, they did play well, no denying that. Like, me saying it's just pre-season is not me trying to disrespect Villarreal. Like, no, absolutely not. Like, they fully deserved the win, they played really well, and fair play to them. But I'm just saying this more from the perspective of, let's try not to overreact too much, let's try not to lose our heads too much. Don't get me wrong, it is disappointing, and I do want to see better from the squad on Saturday against Athletic Bilbao, and of course in the Premier League. However, we learn from it, it is what it is. Ultimately it's unfortunate, but all in all, it was a good game of football. So we had goals from Pepe, Eta Eyong, Norgard, Danjuma and Odegaard, and we had assists from both Martinelli and Comesaña. Obviously we had the penalty shootout as well. So yeah, all in all, that concludes my thoughts on the Villarreal game. Loads to talk about there. All in all, some of the stars of the show, I think Lewis Skelly played really well. I was really happy with Lewis Skelly's performance. Zubimendi was good again. To be fair, also Max Dalman of course was really good. So Max Dalman was good, Zubimendi was quite solid. Obviously Lewis Skelly I quite liked. Obviously the only reason I'm saying Lewis Skelly is because he was actually quite advanced today. Like, he was getting quite far forward, he was making things happen down the left hand side, so he was definitely getting a lot more far forward. Obviously I can't give one of our defenders, like a proper defender like Saliba or anything like that, the man of the match, because end of the day we did concede 3 goals. So I'm not saying Lewis Skelly from a defensive perspective, I'm saying more from an attacking perspective. He was definitely getting quite far forward, making things happen, and to be fair, was playing a much more central advanced role today. In terms of the defending, obviously we did concede 3 goals, so I can't really put our defenders on the stars of the show. But in terms of the stars, Max Dalman, Lewis Skelly, Zubimendi, those kinds of players, of course, I thought were really, really good today, so that was obviously good to see. And yeah, pretty much that goes and wraps it up. So thank you guys so much for watching. Good to see, obviously, all of our new signings getting minutes today. That was certainly really good. Of course, Gyökeres getting his first start, and hopefully now he can play a full 90 against Bilbao. But all in all, I'm really, really pleased with what I'm not pleased with what I saw. Sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about. All in all, I'm not pleased with what I saw tonight. However, there were some moments of positivity, and we need to just try and learn from this. Obviously, I'm not very happy with us losing the game and the penalty shootout, and I'm certainly not massively impressed. However, we did see some good moments. We did see some positivity, and end of the day, we have to just try and build on that. End of the day, it's all a learning curve, and the squad will only get better. So yeah, definitely disappointing, but also I'm not going to lose my head over it. I'm not going to be too reactionary. End of the day, it is a friendly, and we have to just try and learn from it. So all in all, goals from Pepe, Eta Eyong, Norgard, Danjuma, Odegaard, assists from Martinelli and Comesaña, and Villarreal win the game 3-2 and also win the penalty shootout. So that wraps up my thoughts. Thank you so much for listening. Hopefully we do get a better performance against Bilbao. Hopefully we get to see Gyökeres get a full 90. We get to see Madueke get some more minutes. Hopefully we can eventually see Gyökeres' first goal. He had some positive moments today, but obviously it wasn't the greatest performance, but hopefully we can see better from him against Bilbao and better from the team against Bilbao. But anyway, I've been talking for absolutely ages. I don't want to go on anymore, so thank you guys so much for listening. Have a great day. Please let me know down below what you thought of Arsenal's performance against Villarreal. What do you think went wrong tonight, and how can we improve against Athletic Bilbao? And I'll catch you guys at another video. I'll catch you guys at another podcast soon. Bye bye.